This glorious afternoon we're going to do a little handover demo on the Goldstream Crown ST Premium. There's a few reasons why it's a premium one, but we'll do the same as some of our other videos like the Goldstream Pop Top. Much the same, if we start at the front we can't miss anything, and it's where you're going to start when you're doing things on your camper or your caravan anyway. Alright, on the front of this one we've got the DO35 connection, so you get the pin that goes on your car instead of the 50mm ball. All you need to do is wind it on top, push the button, you're locked on. If you haven't lost that yet, it then fits on top, which is your indicator that you have correctly secured your van. Take it off, push the button, slide it back. The button, when it releases, holds it in its open position, because then you can wind it off. Then you put your lovely egg cup on it, which is obviously attached to your car, so you don't rub yourself or if you've been greasing it up. Your handbrake, make sure you apply it before you get it off your car, saves things rolling around. Chains, they're chains, we make sure they're attached. Jockey wheel will come off for travel. Breakaway cord, again, attach that to your car. The plugs, they may look similar to some of the other videos we've shot. Yes, the Anderson still does the batteries. The 12 pin, the little ones still do your indicators, brake lights, electric brakes, stuff like that. The big ones have a different sequence for a different maker of van. On the Goldies, it's 8 and 9 generally, depending on the style of fridge. On Supremes, it's 11 and 12, depending on the style of fridge. On some of the other vans, they use 8, 9 and 11. So be familiar with what you need on your car. Stone guard stops the stones bouncing into your rear windscreen, more so than protecting this, because they're built like tanks, it's not going to dent it. Gas bottles, make sure you turn off the one you're using for travel. When you get somewhere, turn that one on. I know it's that one because I've left that pointing that way. This one's always off because it's full when I run out of gas there. If you do that sort of action, I don't know which one I'm using anymore. And I might do this one, then that one. All of a sudden I've run out of 18 kilos of gas and I can't cook my bacon. So leave that one off, leave it working on that one. Like I say, just turn it off for travel. As we track down this side, all right, now this model has the on-demand hot water system, which is gas only. If you do need to access this panel, it's mainly to get the spiders out if you've left your camper alone for a while. There is a little switch in here that's the 12-volt igniter. If it's off, your gas isn't going to light, you're not going to have on-demand hot water. Leave it on. If your gas is turned off, it won't light. If your water's not flowing, it won't light. But you don't need to get in here a lot, so leave it shut. They are fairly well sealed in, so the spiders will have a hard time getting in there. And once they're in there, if you fire it up, yes, they're going to run out. So use your camper more often, you've got less chance of spiders. The fridge vents are right next to it, so if you do scare an angry spider out of there, they're probably running in here. So if you're going to clean that out, clean these out. If you're going to clean these out, have a look in there and clean that out. If you're going to run on gas, take that off. Now this isn't on every model, but on this style of venting system, that's removable because that's where your gas exhaust is. It won't cause you irreparable damage, it'll just get a bit smelly in the middle of summer. Pop it in your pocket, pop it in the van somewhere because you pop it back on for travel so it minimises dust. Air in, air out, don't block them in, but yeah, clean them off, keeps your fridge breathing easier. We've got legs as usual, especially on these campers, well worth putting them on. Your batteries head down under there. That's where they're supposed to be by law now in case they need to vent. Now, on this exact model, we've got your power in here, which is your 15 amp lead and your outside circuit breaker. We've also got your tank fillers, front and rear, and your mains water in. There's a little connection we give you that screws into that if you're going to run on mains water pressure. The thing to remember, of course, is if you're running on mains pressure, you're not using your tanks, you don't have to turn your pump on. You only turn the pump on if you're using your tanks. If you do lose that cap, find another one, screw it in, stops the bugs having a chance to get in. We've also got a radio antenna here. When you pack the roof down, make sure it doesn't bend in on it because it'll just cause you mischief. And if we are setting up, as you go round, pop these off because they're the safety that holds your roof down. So part of your process of setting up, the quicker you do it, the faster everything happens and the better off you are. And now we're about to scoot around the other side because there's not really a lot on the back to worry about. All right. Now the thing about this Goldstream Crown is it's got a combo shower and toilet in it. It's important you know where your toilet panel is. because at some point in time you're going to have to get it out. There's a little lever on the bottom. You flick it up to release it from its cavity. On most of the models you'll unscrew that, keep it in your hand. There'll be a pressure relief button at the back to let a bit of air in, tip it out. Depending on exactly the model you go for, the cassette may change slightly, but the process is the same. The main trick with it is if you're off emptying this, leave that panel wide open. Because if the missus or the kids open that toilet now, because it's always the husband's doing the job, they'll see daylight. If that is shut, you might come back with that feeling proud of yourself for doing the smelly stuff, and there's more smelly stuff. So leave that open, let them know that you've taken the cassette. When it locks in, it goes click. And then your toilet's back in operation again. Use the chemicals, but tip them in from inside. Don't mess with that outside any more than you have to. We've also got a picnic table. We've also got outside 240 and 12 volt options, so you can plug in whatever you need to plug in out here, like an electric fry pan, or your outside telly, or your phones, or whatever you need to charge up. Jacking points are important for you to know about on your van or your camper. Even though this has got the chassis built jacking points, because it's got the independent twin shock suspension, because it's the off-road, this jack will actually go onto the suspension. So normally at handover time we'll explain that to you in detail, but you can still utilise a higher lift jack on that if that's what part of your kit contains. Now we're going to go to the front where all the fun begins. Now, we've shown you where all the bits and pieces are on the outside. The final bits and pieces that you need to know about on this exact model is where your jacker HD is. It could be in the front boot if you had one. Depends on your layout. We pop open the front panel. Lo and behold, it's right here. Now, make sure these are all undone. The jacker's not going to enjoy trying to go up. In fact, it'll stop. So check this multiple times if you need to make sure they're off. So come in and wake up the unit. Took a bit longer than expected because we'd left it on, so it was in sleep mode. When it comes on, it will ask you to accept. So it's actually reminding you, have you done everything? And then you get the choice, roof up or roof down. Now, obviously the roof's down, so you choose roof up. It'll ask you to hold it in to make sure, and then it says commence roof lift. This is when you make sure these are all down, because if not, you're going to be in a piece of mischief. And you'll hear it start working. If you do walk around it a few times, you'll see it going up. They're set on limiters so that they're going to go up anyway. The best part about this though, is you reach into the esky in the back of your car and find yourself a cold one. Crack, have a beverage while your roof's going up. The guy who's got the older model, he's standing at the front or the rear, crank, 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 crank. No, I'm sitting down having a cold one. So what you might do while your roof's meandering its way up and you've already had a quick can, pop your legs down. Find your bar, locate them to the ground. It's the sort of thing you can get done now, because let's be honest, you've got nothing else to do while that's going up, except checking the cold supply in the back of the car. Now, of course, I hear you ask, I've been away for a week, it's been cloudy, I've thrashed my battery, I don't have enough power to get my roof down, or I've left it in the driveway and the battery's flattened out because I left something plugged on. How do I get it to work? Well, there's an access panel somewhere on your unit. In this case, it's on the rear left. No, it's not a crank handle. You also get your battery connections with the van end. There's a little connection point just in there. You disconnect the van battery, plug this one in with your auxiliary battery, your car battery, your second deep cycle, whatever you got going on, and then the control panel is going to function as usual. So there's always an override. It's the sort of thing that you want to make sure that you know where the bag is, and there's no point leaving it inside under the sink, because if your camper's down, you can't get to it. So make sure it's in one of your outside panels, because then you've always got access to it. If the worst thing happens, then you flatten your battery. And of course, you're not going to go in there a lot, so just leave it sealed up for most of the time. Again, it's one of those safety things. As long as you know where it is, you know where it is. Now, once you're set up, you don't want to leave these out in the elements because they'll get dusty and gritty and all sorts of action. Fold these back out, put the Velcro on. If you're not 9 foot tall, you might realise that using your stabiliser leg handle is an easy way to tuck it up there. There's always an extra use for stuff. Again, make sure you know where your bits and pieces are. When we pack up, of course, you've got to undo that. If one of your corners goes up a bit weird, lubricate all of those things. Turn off your jacker. You don't need it to be sitting there using power. Now we need to jump inside and do the inside setup. Now, the bit people freak out about, sometimes it's the bed end slides, which we've discussed. The doors, you've got to get the door right. This one's got the strap across, so just make sure you undo the strap, undo the back too, and then your door can fold down. So if you haven't got a handle on it, it's going to swing down and hurt yourself. Now, the easiest way to do it is you take a knee. Because you've got to line up these holes, which is a bit hard to see on the video, with the pins on the bottom of the door. And you also want the outside top of the door to fold over the bottom half, so the rain's going to go straight through. Once you've located it in, work your way up to the top, clear all your Velcro bits, you push the door against its frame and swing these two little blackies up to hold the top of the door in. So the top's held there, the bottom's held by the pins, and now it's just a matter of running these down, and as you do, fold them out the way. Because now you can open your door. Take a little bit of time, because it's all Velcro to keep the bugs and the bits out, and then you can run the outside Velcro down to make that all look nice and neat and tidy, and close it in. If you've still got the hand winder and you're not quite up high enough, that door is going to be insanely hard. If you've got the hand winder and you've gone up too far, which is hard, the door will be a bit floppy, so you'll get used to your tension. Whether you leave that strap up there to throw your tea towels and stuff like that in, it's up to you. These hooks are not doing much. So then you flick up your bathroom door, attach your Velcros once it's up, seal your bathroom in. The ensuite is built. I've now got a couch, I can get to my fridge. I can even have a nap if I feel the need. Now, generally speaking, once you've got the roof up, your bathroom's built, you're ready for a nap if it's been that sort of a drive, you're going to check and make sure your fridge is triggered over to whatever the setting is, wherever you are. We're at a caravan park, so it's jumped across to power. We've got it on automatic energy selection, which why would you not? When we were driving, it would have been on battery. If we were free camping, it'll come across to gas. So just check your fridge basically to make sure it's doing what it's meant to be doing in case kids have been messing with it or you haven't opened your gas bottle and it's sitting there error coding at you. The other thing Goldstream do, which as far as I'm aware is fairly unique to Goldstream, they give you a switch for your fridge so you can turn off the 240 portion of your fridge because now it's jumped straight across to gas. So if I was rugging a generator, for example, because I'm free camping and I want the aircon to run, I can now get the fridge to run on gas at the flick of a switch here without having to mess with my control panel. Because then my generator's just feeding the air conditioner. My fridge is running on gas, which it uses nearly nothing. Everything's going to stay nice and cold. If I am at the caravan park, I'll make sure that one's on because I'm paying for that power. It's going to jump straight back across to 240 volt power. Whether that's on or off, you hook up to your car, it's going to be on battery maintaining its temperature. Temperature controls over on this side. Nice big fridge, cornetto space in the top. And if you're packing up for at home and you're not using it anymore, it's a handy little door open brace so it ventilates. Make sure it's off. What we find most people do with these is there'll still be stuff in there from your week away. When you get home, you pop it up, come in, empty your fridge, physically turn it off here on the on-off button, chock it open, and then you make sure you got no cornettos left, you left no bacon or eggs in there. You don't want that stuff living in your fridge when it's off for a while. Other things that we will show you in Handover, which is particular to your unit, will be any control switches, like your water pump switch. In this case, it's just here. Your hot water service indicator lights are here. You've also got some TV points, USBs and 240 volt power here next to your fridge. So it's handy to charge your phones and things like that. Or if you're watching the telly in here, you can sit over on the couch and plonk it up on the bench. Down on the other end, if we pan around, again on this exact layout with the east-west and the combo, you do have a nice little control panel down here as a visual display. If I wake it up, it tells me what your battery voltage is, how much you're using and how much you're generating in. Because we plugged in, it's leveling out. If I tap it again, it tells me what our water levels are. Most of these systems you can hook up to your phone, which when we show you where the battery management system on this, we'll explain that to you. But it's just important for you to know where it is. You might be quite happy sitting in there on the toot, checking your battery levels. So we've got the battery management system by BM Pro. The beauty of these is they're set up to control all of your power into your van rather than having different modules, and you can do different things with them. The big unit is the actual battery management. The one on the right is the Odyssey link that talks to that control panel. Now, if I bring it up on my phone, Odyssey by BM Pro, and say scan for devices, I just have to tap this little button on the top to make the green light come on. Because then it comes up, and what I can do on my phone then is I can keep an eye on my battery consumption, my water level consumption. Because now it's showing me what's happening in this exact unit. The battery's at idle. My water tank's 3/4 full, for example. I can see that I'm plugged into mains. If I wanted to, I can connect up tyre monitors and gas bottle monitors, which is an add-on, but it could be a very handy add-on. What I can also do is turn off some selected lights in your camper. Or I can isolate your 12-volt power completely by going into eco mode. So it can come in handy if you've forgotten to turn something off, you can turn it off. Or you can sit outside and turn your power on and turn your lights on to wake the kids up. Of course, I can only link up to your unit if I can access that. So I can't just do it in a caravan park and be fancy, but I can sit outside on mine and be fancy and show the lights going on and off. It's also a handy little safety. Now, as with most much bigger units, you've got your combo shower and toilet. So you've got the facilities to go anywhere you like. We've got that folded down just so we can display it for you. We've also got your cooktop. So on this model, it's 4 gas burners with a grill, so doing your chunky toast. You've got your microwave tucked in right down the back because there's not that much space in here, you've got to make use of it. All of your windows you can unzip. You've got exhaust fans to run when you're cooking and or in the shower. Air conditioner, of course, on the roof. Your water pump for the sink. So it's got just about everything that a much bigger van has. All you got to do is get creative on your space, but you can get a lot more places than everyone else. And let's be honest, you're living outside most of the time, not inside. There's a number of different layouts if you're looking for a Goldstream camper that may not have the east-west bed. Most of them do. A lot of them won't have the bathroom, but it's become a much more necessary function. You imagine if you take this bathroom out, you can get a much bigger couch area, so you can get a club lounge in it. Everything might shift around slightly to be a bit more user-friendly. You might even go for a fridge that's over this side. So there's different options you can go for. Much like the cafe servery window, you can roll that up and you've got yourself open to the world. So it's well worth not just looking at this model, having to think about what you need camping, because chances are Goldstream make a camper that's purpose built for you. If you've got the wing version and you've got to push the bed end out, you pull it out from outside, do it nicely in the middle, there's a big sticker that tells you. Then you put the brace legs in and underneath, which will be hopefully tucked in under your mattress. Then from inside you push the pole in, lock it in. The video that we've got shows that. Then you go back outside and attach your Velcros and make it look all nice and neat and tidy. Don't let the kids jump around on that bed until you've finished it, because otherwise you'll be in a mischief. The other trick with the Goldstream wings is get yourself a plastic fitted sheet to sit over your bedding before you pack up. It'll minimise dust and any moisture in the air or off your canvas when you pack up, because you don't want that stuff soaking into your mattress or your bed, because it'll be when you climb in that night. So a bit of stuff like that will come in handy. If you're going away and it's always going to be dusty or it's always going to be wet, potentially put one on here, because you are going to get the canvas folding in, and if your canvas is damp, it's going to make the top of your bed damp. So if you find these in your kit, they're not there as a throwaway, they're not there as something left over for construction. They're there to slot in here in case your weather's terrible. You pop them in as a spare, because now if the weather gets feral and it snows and your roof gets heavy, it can't come down on you because you've got a solid piece of metal in there. Awning hook, make sure you know where it is. You can turn it into a handle, because on the wind out awning, you just need to find an end, pop it in the loop, start winding. So it's a fairly straightforward wind. Now the catch with these is the arms that are underneath won't go straight. They are designed to be a bent elbow. So when you get to full extension, you notice the canvas goes slack. Tension it up a little bit, take the hook out, put it back in your van. What you want to do then, the legs are tucked in here in the framework. Pay close attention to the knuckle, because you want that to slide out, not be stuck in there. Swing the leg down, locate your pegs, peg it into the ground. Do the same on the other end. Then you've got yourself your awning. We haven't even had to speed that up, that's how quick and easy it is. They are a summer awning though. If it's going to be winter, put it out, but make sure you're good on your ropes and your pegs. You can get walls for them, there's little tracks here they'll slot into. You can get full canvas things for them if you're that way inclined. Now, you might look at all your kit and go, why have I got poles like this, and why have I got a bag of pegs and ropes? And then you look up the top and you go, I don't have the gold wing ends, why do I have the bag fly? You'd be surprised how good that is. If the weather's a little bit gnarly, you put your 2 posts out, you put your guy rope on it, you have your fly out. You've protected your gas bottles, not that that's really a concern, but you've made more shade and weather protection for here, which is behind your bed. You might find the weather's perfect to have that shaded and have all of this open and let a breeze through. You got one on the back as well. You make your whole thing shader, I don't think that's really a word, but you get all the bits for it, so when you get away somewhere you can have a play. But you'll be surprised how much cooler it makes it having that extra shade out, so you can suck nice cool shaded air through here rather than the sun beating in on it. So don't discount it as a thing that was an extra. They are brilliant. Packing up your awning is important, especially if the weather's turning a bit nasty. You don't really want to leave it out in a good breeze. A bit of rain's okay, but if it's going to be windy, pack it up. Bit the same as before, loosen off your thumb screw. Pay attention to the knuckle end. It's aluminium and plastic bits. So when it comes up, tuck it in with your thumb. This will then lock in to a nice little bracket. Tuck in with your thumb. And make sure your thumb screw's done up. Yeah, winding up's fairly easy. Much easier to do it when it's not windy though. Once it's up, just give it a tweak. Pop your handle out, put it back in the boot. Don't leave it here. You'll drive off and forget about it. So if you have packed up your awning, make sure you put your hook away and close up shop. So we've had a lovely weekend away somewhere in our Goldstream Crown. East-west bed, plenty of space, shower toilet combo, 3-way fridge, all the fun stuff you need. If it's the one with the shower toilet, you have to make sure this wall folds down first. Otherwise, when we bring the roof down, you got a solid piece. It is Velcroed on. For the speed of filming, we've just unvelcroed it. You can leave all of that up there. You don't have to fold all that down. It's also a good idea to make sure your doors and things are locked, because when the roof comes down, it's hard work getting in here. The walls, it's not a bad idea if you shuffle your curtains across a bit, because the same reasoning, when it folds down, all that canvas from the corners got to come in. If the curtains are there, you've got more canvas in the corners. Some people have the curtains apart, so it's nice and easy to fold, depends on your origami skills. The tricky bit's the door, so Tom and I will swap places now. You've got to be able to unlatch all your door bits. So, twiddle them all, and up the top you'll see there's more. So we need to flick those across, then run your fingers down on these Velcros. If you just tear it off, you're going to tear the Velcro glue off. If you've got delicate hands, use some gloves. Not a bad idea anyway if there's a spider living in there somewhere. Run your hands down, and as you do, you flick these ones to effectively hold the door to the frame. So it's a little process you want to get used to, and running the Velcro. Start at the top then, pull the door towards yourself and bring the door in. What you'll see up here is part of the holding strap. So as you fold the door up, latch it in up there, and then whilst you're holding the door up, put your holding strap across. Because then you know it can't come down on your head. It's where it's meant to be for pack up. It's out of the way. You've now got air vent space. You have a look around. You don't want stuff on your bench tops, especially if you've got the pull-ins, because then you're going to have stuff knock over. Make sure your stove's cooling down. Check any of your air roof hatches. See where your pillows are going to line up. You probably throw them on the couch or somewhere to keep them nice and fluffy. If everything else is out of the way, we're pretty much ready to bring down. If you had a wing out the front, you pull out the brace pole. There's another video that shows me doing this. You get your brace pole out, tuck it under your mattress. Then you'd go outside, take out your 2 underneath brace poles, undo your elastics, flick the loop out, and then push it in. If it stops on something, check. something's not quite right, you've left a coffee mug up, there's a kid still inside. Once it's in, you've got to be good on your origamis. Once you've set up, wrap these over, keeps everything protected if you like. When it's pack up time though, tuck them back in under, keeps them out of the way. It also gives you an option to have a look at that. If it's dirty, dusty, crusty, give it a bit of lubricant, spray with a glove behind it or not. Now this one's got the Jacker HD. The control panel's in here. All you got to do is wake it up. So you've got to hold that down to get it activated, because otherwise you just tap it with something, putting it away, and then commence roof lower. So it gives you that option to make sure everything's okay. What you'll get incredibly used to is the time it takes, because then while it's coming down, you make sure these are all off and clear. You can do lap after lap after lap, packing stuff in if you like. The easiest thing to do is you poke the corners in, because it brings both sides in. Make sure your door's in its shut position, because you'll get enough air coming out of here, but if your door's open and it gets to its finish point, it's going to be in strife. It's the far side that'll catch out, because there's a big wall of canvas there, and if the breeze is blowing in, sort of like it's doing today, it's all going to push out. There is a big red button on there. If you need to stop it because you realise something's out of whack, you can just reach in and hit stop. And then you can go around and poke it in if you're worried about the kids or the missus or whoever getting an arm caught in it. But if you realise you want to get in and get a fresh can of Coke out before the drive home, you can stop wherever you need to, and then you just poke your head in and turn it on again. As you'll realise, because I'm not breaking a sweat or getting dusty, if I had the hand crank system, I'd still be standing here, wind and wind and wind, and hang on, I'll swap hands now, yep, wind, wind, wind. And then you stop and you go around and you tuck things in. With the electric version, if it does register that it's running into something, it will stop. But then it just comes itself down and it's down. As usual, you go around and put your clips on. And your job's over. The Jacker box will turn itself off, or you can turn it off in there. When you pack it down, check all your rivets, check any screws, because if they're coming loose, you want to attend to it. We'll also say that when you're setting up, you check all of this stuff, because then you might have all weekend to fix it. So that's a little handover video on our Goldstream Crown ST Premium Platinum. So there's a range of different layouts you can look at, so come in and see us at Adelaide RV, we can show you most of them. If that's the one that you love, give us a call. It might still be on the yard. Unlikely, but you never know. Well worth looking through the videos though, because you might go, you know what, I really like that, but I'd like this. It's probably an option that they've already thought about before. They're nice and light, they're going to go anywhere, they're going to follow your car wherever you go. It takes no time at all to set up, as you've seen. We don't speed up the videos like you see on some. Oh, it takes 2 minutes. And then you sped your video up and it's really 15. They are as quick and easy as you think. There'll be a few little nitty tricks that we'll tell you at handover time, which again, we try and personalise to you, whereas these videos are a bit more of a generic thing. So if you've got any questions about them, shoot us a line, pop into the yard, give us a call. There's numerous ways to get in touch with us. If not, see us out and about somewhere at some of the regional shows. I think me as Dave, Tom as Tom, I think we're just about done for today. We'll get this back in the yard so we can sell it on to the next happy camper for the long weekend that's coming. It's time to go back to work, Tom.